So do you remember that Belle Delphine situation a few years ago where she sold her bathwater? Where people generally had one of two reactions. One going, what the hell is wrong with everyone? Or two,
where's my credit card?
well, I don't know if you've seen the news, but she actually ended up losing money by doing that. Though I would argue it's not as simple as that, and it was still a genius move. Right? Because Belle came out of the woodwork this week, and she claimed in a series of tweets, since it's been a couple of years now, I can finally share the biggest L I've ever taken. Not only did I not earn any money selling my bathwater, I in fact lost money doing it. PayPal, without any warning, closed my PayPal account and took the $90,000 that I earned from selling my bathwater. There was nothing I could do. And saying I knew it would be a better news story to say that I made so much money from selling my bathwater, so I just kept this secret. Ultimately, I'm still glad I did it since it was a really funny time on the internet when it happened, and I still did mail out the bathwater people bought from me. And then going further by adding that she apparently broke their terms of service, which resulted in $2,500 in penalties for every sale. But also with that saying PayPal wouldn't even tell her what rules she broke for security reasons. Now, as far as some of the math there, right, you have outlets like NBC News saying they reached out for comment, but she didn't respond to clarify if the $90,000 included the fines or it was just the money lost from sales or what. The key thing there is that they added that PayPal does have rules about sexually oriented goods, right? Specifically limiting those sales to physical items like DVDs and magazines, and also saying they must be sold within the US, and Belle is notably usually based out of the UK, right? And while the bathwater situation was a generally unique one for PayPal, the criticism of the company is not new. You know, they've often been criticized for its treatment of sex workers and adult performers in the past. But as far as what PayPal had to say about Belle, no specifics. Right? They just said, for privacy reasons, we cannot comment on specific accounts. But also, you know, I think there is an argument to be made that Belle really didn't lose money here. And understand, I'm not saying that she's lying, or because the money that she lost there, that's essentially just a marketing expense. The value that she got from the spectacle that was her selling her bathwater before really anyone was doing something like that has to be in the millions of dollars. And given that she's an OnlyFans model that charges $35 a month, and that doesn't even keep into account like all the other ways OnlyFans models make money once they get you in, she very likely was incredibly net positive on this venture. And even talking about it now, looking back, another great marketing move. But to also make this a bigger story about the industry in general, like Belle is far from the only person to recently call out financial institutions for harming sex workers. It's a problem that faces all kinds of sex work, whether it be on the OnlyFans side of things or escorts as well. Right? We've seen some in the UK recently calling out banks for shutting down their accounts. With, for example, one National Health Services worker turned escort telling the Financial Times that she has been denied bank accounts or had them shut down on her 15 times, saying, so you want me to pay taxes, but you want to take bank accounts off me? And the Sex Workers Union has actually found that 80% of its members have experienced some form of financial discrimination. With a representative for the campaign group Decrim Now telling the Financial Times, we need financial authorities to stop conflating sex and sex work with criminality and reinforcing the isolation and marginalization already facing sex workers. Now, for their part, banks maintain that they have to watch out for financial crimes, including sex trafficking, with the spokesperson for the trade body UK Finance saying that the risks are high here, and that's often why these decisions are made to shut accounts. But still, you have plenty arguing that that still just plays right into and worsens the stigma surrounding sex work. This news also, thankfully, coming as we're seeing stories about progress being made for sex workers. Like with Belgium, for example, they just approved a labor law for employment contracts for certain sex workers without giving them things like insurance, holidays, maternity leave, and more. And then over here in the States, you have people pushing for legislation in Massachusetts that would partially decriminalize some aspects of sex work. And in Illinois, activists and nonprofits are pushing for sex work to be decriminalized. And like we've talked about on the show, these industries will exist whether they are illegal or not. So decriminalization at the least, regulation, those things seem to benefit everyone. Keeping the workers safe or trying to limit or completely eliminate exploitation and abuses in the system. You know, with all that said, of course, with any aspect of what we just covered, I'd love to know your thoughts.